Hey, welcome to Life After Nursing School. I'm your host, Caroline Dana, aka Nurse Coach Caroline, and I'm here to help you, the new nurse, thrive in your career. As a former nurse recruiter, nurse manager, and now your personal new nurse career coach, I'm obsessed with making sure you don't just survive your first couple of years at the bedside. I want you to absolutely rock them. From the challenges to the triumphs, I'll be right here with you, giving you the real-world advice and support that you need to shine. Whether you're in nursing school getting ready for life after, or you're already out there in nurse life feeling overwhelmed or even questioning your confidence, I've got your back. I'll be sharing tips, tricks, resources, and strategies that are just for you. We'll dive into everything from landing that dream nursing job to slaying imposter syndrome, and most importantly, how to keep that spark alive and stay the vibrant and amazing nurse that you are. So if you're ready to tackle the things nursing school did not cover, like how to build a career, trust yourself, and keep your passion strong, then get comfortable because we are about to dive in and make nurse life the best life. I can't believe I'm actually recording my first episode of the Life After Nursing School podcast, and I am so happy you are here. My name is Caroline Dana, and in all honesty, I've been considering starting a podcast for close to 2 years now. So please know I am so grateful that you hit play today. It has taken me time to gain clarity on the type of podcast that I would create, the topics that I would cover, and who it is that I truly want to serve. But now I know. The Life After Nursing School podcast will cover the things that nursing school doesn't, the real parts of being a nurse, the good and the bad, the things I wish I knew earlier to better prepare and anticipate once I was working on the unit. A major topic of this podcast, one that nursing school does not cover, are the different types of jobs that exist within the nursing profession. I'm talking unique specialties like being a flight nurse or a trauma nurse or even an RN first assist, all the way to non-traditional jobs like remote nursing, legal nurse consulting, travel nursing, and more. The options are endless, and I think that's a superpower within the profession. You can pivot directions at any time. How cool is that? Obstacles that new nurses have as they transition from nursing school to the bedside role is another area nursing school does not prepare students for. We will cover many aspects of landing your first RN job, as well as combating pre-shift anxiety and imposter syndrome. Being a novice nurse is not easy, and did you know you are considered an expert in a specialty as a nurse when you have close to 10 years of being employed in that particular area of the field? That's a decade. So expertise takes time. We will learn about wellness and mindset strategies to help us grow, evolve, and thrive at the bedside. I've learned that it takes a secret sauce with multiple ingredients to thrive as a nurse, and everyone's sauce is different. And unfortunately, didactic material, the stuff that you learn in nursing school, is only a small part of the recipe. Knowing your core beliefs, strengths, weaknesses, preferences, career goals, innate motivators, boundaries, non-negotiables, as well as prioritizing your physical health is crucial when acclimating to life as a nurse. If you don't take care of yourself, you won't be able to take care of others to your greatest ability. One of my new grad nurse clients that I recently worked with told me a quote that really resonated with me. She said, "We are given two hands, one to help ourselves and one to help others." I think this is a powerful reminder that we are responsible for caring for both ourselves and our patients. When both hands are caring for the same thing, we lose focus and balance. I also think of the flight attendant spiel when they instruct you to put on your own oxygen mask before doing so for others. And the same goes for individuals working within the nursing field. I want to help you define what it takes to protect and nurture your well-being in order to show up every shift as the best version of you. I've learned along the way that if you actually put in the work to put yourself first, you will provide the best care to your patients and move throughout your career in a way that is aligned with your true life goals, making you one successful and happy nurse. I am not sure why you tuned in today, Maybe you are in nursing school anticipating life as a nurse. Maybe you just accepted your first position and now you're unsure what to do next. Maybe you are in your first position and wow, this is not what you expected or what you thought your life would be like. I imagine you may be feeling confused, stressed, lost, physically or emotionally exhausted, or both, or all of the above. I've been there too, many times in my career, but the beauty of nursing and something no one really emphasized to me is that you can pivot and there is a correct career path out there for you. And together, I am certain we will find it. Now, before we dive in, I want to share a little bit about me, your host, Caroline Dana. I am a 34-year-old and mom of three beautifully active children. I have two daughters with a son sandwiched right in the middle. So much of my so called free time involves soccer practices, bath time, kissing boo boos, family dinners, and movie nights. I'm a proud wife to an orthopedic physician assistant and also lieutenant colonel in the Air Force. My husband's name is Brian, and this coming fall will be our 10-year wedding anniversary. Yes, we did meet at the hospital while I was working as a tech in nursing school. It was a bit like Grey's Anatomy. Well, except for the steamy utility closet hookups, in real life, there is no time for that. Maybe I'll share our story on a future show, but currently I will keep it PG and keep it brief. We live on the shoreline in Connecticut, and my life after nursing school started when I graduated with my BSN from Salve Regina University in 2012 and hit the ground running as a nurse ever since. Time really is a thief. I can't believe it's been over 12 years since I've graduated. And to say that I'm shocked at some of the opportunities and experiences I have had throughout my career is a dang understatement. The places this profession has taken me have not all been traditional, nor what I could ever have imagined, but they have led me to my current and most fulfilled position to date, a new nurse career coach, or as some may understand, entrepreneurship. If you were to tell me 12 years ago that I would be running my own business, which does not include delivering patient care or working at the bedside, I would have laughed in your face and I probably would have laughed hard. One of my friends has a running joke that I am a descendant of Florence Nightingale and that every generation of women in my family that have come before me must have been nurses. Now, of course, this is not true. Well, except for my mother. She is a nurse and she's happily retired now, might I add. But the reason this joke is so funny and that I am the butt of this joke is because I've always known that I've wanted to be a nurse. Well, at least since the sixth grade. And I've always been extremely eager and excited to become one. When I was in sixth grade, my sister, who is a year younger than me, became critically ill after a stubborn strep infection and then ultimately became septic. My mother, as I've mentioned, was a nurse at the time and actually had to perform CPR on my sister when she became unresponsive at home. She was taken to the hospital and admitted to the ICU of a large level one pediatric trauma center locally and intubated. I watched my mother collaborate with many other members of the healthcare team and advocate for my sister. She suggested specific tests. She pushed for certain specialty consults. She actively reviewed my sister's results and understood the results, and she did so much more. I remember thinking, wow, my mom has a superpower that I didn't even know existed. She can speak this medical jargon and she can save people's lives, just like she had with my sister. I knew in that moment I wanted to be a superhero for my family someday. And so from then on, I wanted to become a nurse just like my mom. Thankfully, my sister made a full recovery. And the year after that, I was in seventh grade and we had our first ever anatomy and physiology class where we dissected worms and frogs. This sealed my fate and threw me into a full blown obsession with nursing. In high school, I became a CNA and worked in a kitchen of a nursing home to get my feet wet, and then went on to work as a patient care technician at our local hospital. I took an elective anatomy and physiology class in high school and was the recipient of the Rusty Scalpel Award for achieving the highest grade in that class. It was kind of a fake award, but I did win it, and I was very proud of that. By the time I got into nursing school, I had the utmost confidence that this profession was made for me, or maybe that I was made for it. Now let's fast forward to nursing school. Nursing school was hard AF. You know the deal, okay? Blood, sweat, tears. The highs in nursing school are high, and the lows in nursing school are so low. I often found myself comparing my grades to my peers constantly. If I got an 85 on a hard test, instead of celebrating that great grade, I would be hard on myself if I didn't do as well as my peers. I wish I had known at the time that good grades alone didn't make someone a good nurse. And as they say, C's get degrees. Well, I think C plus or above for nursing. And knowing that what I know now, your GPA doesn't hold a whole lot of weight post nursing school. So if you're in the thick of it currently, give yourself some grace and quit comparing yourself to others. While in nursing school, I worked as a patient care technician at a local hospital, became the captain of the women's cross country team, and was inducted into the Sigma Theta Tau International Honor Society. I tell you all of this because I thought I had positioned myself to get any job that I applied for. So I applied to a select few, mostly large level one trauma centers and ICU related positions because I had my heart set on being an ICU nurse and I wanted to care for the sickest of the sick patient population right out of nursing school. Well, my friends, that was incredibly humbling. I received one call to schedule an interview, and it was at the hospital that I was a patient care technician at, AKA a courtesy interview. I tried not to get too down on myself at the time because the majority of my friends did not have any job traction or job opportunities lined up. I will spare you the details, but long story short, I completely flopped the interview. It remains my top 5 most embarrassing professional experiences of my life. Just a quick glimpse. I showed up with an ugly pantsuit, a briefcase, and the only thing I remember from the interview is just telling jokes. I don't remember giving them any real evidence I would be a great hire. Despite a terrible interview, I was offered a position in their new grad nurse residency program. I, of course, accepted this offer as it was my only offer, but man, was I bummed. It was for a full time med surge position, night shift. I am not too proud to admit that I'm quite certain I was offered a position at this hospital solely because of my reputation that I had built as a patient care technician while I was employed there. I had proven myself to be hardworking, reliable, and eager to learn. My first year as a nurse was almost a blur. I was quickly humbled by how challenging the MedSurg environment truly is and shocked at how sick patients can be on a quote unquote stable unit. During my orientation, I quickly felt relieved that I'd started on MedSurg versus a more critical setting because there is so much to learn. I want to let you in on a secret. Maybe you've heard this before, but no one really emphasized this to me. Clinical in nursing school is just a small glimpse of what it is like to care for a full patient assignment as a nurse. I was so eager to become a good, proficient, and independent nurse that I jumped at every learning opportunity. I often picked up extra hours, I stayed late, and I was so proud to finally be a nurse that it really started to become my identity. I found myself excited to share that I was a nurse within minutes of meeting new people. Becoming a nurse is really hard. So once that a title was official, I wanted to shout it from the rooftops. I wanted to be in that role as much as possible, and I lost myself along the way. I also experienced a lot of stress and anxiety those first few years as a nurse and sort of missed the signs. I didn't realize that stress can present itself in sneaky ways. For example, I did a lot of sleepwalking my first year as a nurse. I remember one instance where Brian, my then boyfriend, now husband, woke me up and I was standing on the side of the bed with all of the lights on in my apartment. I had Brian's arms stretched out and I was preparing to insert an IV. He woke up as I was telling him, "Don't worry, this won't hurt very much. It's just going to be a little pinch." And don't worry, I didn't have a needle or any sharp objects in my hands, thank goodness. And at that point, he tucked me back into bed, but I did not recount this at all the next day. In addition to sleepwalking, my dentist told me that I was grinding my teeth a lot and issued me a retainer to wear at night. Apparently, teeth grinding is another product of stress and anxiety and known as bruxism. As if sleepwalking and teeth grinding weren't enough, I felt physically exhausted and emotionally drained more often than not, and I battled all consuming thoughts related to my job. Did I pass that info along in report to the next nurse? Did I remember to chart the I's and O's on that patient? Did I put the bed alarm on before I left the room? I often found myself wondering how my patients were doing on my days off, as well as critiquing something I said or did while thinking, that was really stupid or that was really silly. I don't think I realized these effects were signs of stress or anxiety because I genuinely liked my job despite those symptoms. I also attributed stress and anxiety to what I had experienced in nursing school. You know, when you're about to take a test and your heart is racing and you're sweating and your hands are shaking, that true fight or flight state. The stress and anxiety that I was now experiencing as a practicing nurse was less acute, less textbook, and it was more chronic. So it simply went unaddressed. I felt what I was experiencing was just part of adjusting to life as a nurse. I felt it was normal, it was common. What I didn't stop to think was, is this healthy? Is this state of being serving me? How can I reduce my stress while acclimating to the job? Just because stress and anxiety are common among new nurses doesn't mean it should go untreated or ignored. At the 1 year mark of being a nurse, I began to itch for a change and experience higher acuity patients. Again, at this time, I had my sights set on the ICU. Unfortunately, the ICU at the current hospital that I worked at didn't have any openings, and all other hospitals with ICU positions required 2 or more years of experience. And at the time, I only had one. So I decided to give the ER a try and planned to circle back to my dream of being an ICU nurse after I had been a nurse for 2 years. I transitioned to the ER at a small community hospital, and the ER was a setting that I had never thought I would want to work in, nor did I even enjoy when I rotated through in nursing school. But I found myself yet again, just like med surg, in another specialty I didn't plan on practicing as a nurse. At the time that I transferred to the ER, I had also completed the year-long nurse residency program. If you get a chance to be a part of one, I highly recommend it. At this time, I was also asked to be a part of the hiring committee for the new graduate nurse residency program. Being a magnet recognized hospital, staff participated in almost all active hospital committees here at this organization. I was to be the staff representative within the group as we weeded through countless new grad nurse applicants and worked through the process of determining which ones would be the right fit for hire within our hospital. Little did I know being a part of this committee would be pivotal for me in my future. I will share this experience in a future episode, but to put simply, I was a member of this community for years and I thoroughly enjoyed it. The ER is, in a sick and twisted way, a fun place to work. Every exam room hosts a unique patient problem, and no 2 days are the same. So, if you enjoy fast paced work in a controlled, chaotic environment, the ER may be for you. I ended up staying in this specialty for 6 years. I went as far as to become board certified. I completed the trauma nurse certification course, and I was a member of the Emergency Nurses Association. Shortly after starting in the ER, I was hooked and I no longer wanted to pursue the ICU. It is hard to summarize my entire nursing career in one episode. I spent the next 6 years, like I had mentioned, in the ER as a bedside nurse, where I also went on to obtain my MSN in nursing management and leadership. I then took a position as a hospital nurse recruiter. Plot twist, I know. From there, I became an assistant nurse manager at a pediatric ER at a large level one trauma center. And then I progressed to my dream job, which was a nurse manager. By the time I was a nurse manager, the pandemic was in full blown effect. I was the nurse manager of a med surg unit that also acted as an inpatient COVID unit. And oh, yeah, we took all the behavioral health patients as well. Many within the hospital referred to my unit as the dumpster fire of the hospital. And looking back, they weren't wrong. I used to tell my staff, if you can work on this floor for about a year, you can literally do anything in nursing. Life as a nurse manager was much harder than I anticipated. I was working 10-hour days, Monday through Friday. My kids were the first to be dropped off at daycare at 6:45 in the morning and the last to be picked up at 6 in the evening. Just picture two kids under the age of 5 wearing their jackets with their backpacks on, waiting by the window for their mom or dad to pick them up every day. On my days off and after work hours, I was routinely fielding phone calls from staff, the house supervisor, and central staffing regarding all kinds of issues: staffing, patient acuity, disgruntled patients, etc. It got to a point where the job was infiltrating every aspect of my life. And as a middle manager, I had the pressure of those above me to prioritize what they felt was important. And then I had the staff that needed other things prioritized in order to do their job effectively. At the end of the day, I felt I was unable to prioritize what upper management wanted, yet I was unable to make true change at the unit level. And therefore, my staff still continued to deal with repeat frustrations and obstacles. And on top of that, my kids missed their mom and they were exhausted with long days at daycare. Oh, yeah. And I was pretty unhappy because no one was happy. I then did what many people report doing during the pandemic. I thought long and hard about what I wanted in my life. I wanted to feel like I was making a difference, but more importantly, I wanted to be a more present mom. So it was time to pivot my career yet again. And I know you're thinking, geez, Caroline, you love to pivot within the nursing profession. And you know what? I sure do. And don't forget, you can too, especially when a position is no longer serving you. Okay, so brace yourself. The next position might leave you feeling a bit blindsided, but I took a remote position as a travel nurse recruiter and worked in this capacity for a year and a half. And it was wonderful. I was able to get my kids on and off the bus for school. No more long days of childcare, no before or after school care. I had an hour-long lunch break. Yes, an hour long, where I could go for a run or tackle errands or throw in laundry or make dinner. My mom heart was so happy. I also got to talk with nurses all over the country and help them land travel contracts in dreamy places. I built their resumes, I coached them on phone interviews, and I was their support person, and I absolutely loved helping them. However, believe it or not, I started to miss patient care, and being a travel nurse recruiter was starting to feel a bit salesy. The travel nurse market was readjusting post COVID and rates were dropping significantly. And the agency that I was working for was putting a lot of pressure on recruiters to push their nurses into assignments that they weren't interested in. It no longer felt aligned with me. And I realized then I wanted to keep supporting and helping nurses in my own way. So early 2024, I quit my travel recruiter position without a job lined up. This is the first time I've ever done anything like that. And this was very out of character for me, but my gut was telling me that this was right. Throughout being a travel nurse recruiter, I started a social media page and began supporting nurses there. While unemployed and leaning into connecting with nurses on social media, I realized that I truly loved helping nurses with career navigation and, drumroll please, decided to take a shot at entrepreneurship. So I filed my LLC and began my new grad nurse career coaching business in March of 2024. I had learned so much about hiring nurses from my years of experience as a member of the new grad nurse residency program hiring committee, as well as being both a hospital nurse recruiter and a travel nurse recruiter, and having been in nursing management for years. I actually had perspective, lived experiences, and shareable knowledge that could help new nurses and nursing students be a more compelling candidate. While reflecting on a decade of experience interviewing and hiring nurses, I quickly realized there needs to be more support in early nursing career navigation. Applicants were making the same mistakes during the application process, and there weren't resources out there to help educate nursing students on how to craft an impactful and unique cover letter or resume, or how to strategically answer interview questions. I suddenly felt like this was a gap that I could close for new nurses. Getting a job right out of nursing school doesn't have to be a struggle like it commonly is. And so that is how my nurse career journey began. Next month, I will have had my coaching business for 1 full year, and I cannot believe all that I've learned and achieved along the way. I want to add that once I quit my travel nurse recruiter position, I took time to reflect before quickly pivoting. I understand that I'm lucky to have this privilege. Yes, my husband and I had to adjust to living off of one income, and that was strenuous, but being able to take time to reflect allowed me to go in the direction that was aligned with me. In addition to running a business, I accepted a position as a clinical nurse instructor. As I reflected on my career, my life, and what I wanted for my future, I recognized a few things. I wanted something that would not require me to work weekends, holidays, or after hours. I wanted to continue to mentor new nurses, and I didn't want to work full time so that I had time to be a present mom as well as grow my business. Being a clinical instructor was another position that I actually said I would never do that. I would never become a clinical instructor. It is actually comical at this point, the amount of nursing positions I said I would never do or thought I would hate, but then miraculously found myself in them. For instance, I didn't think I would work in med surg or the ER. Never thought I would ever work as a travel nurse recruiter or a hospital recruiter. Never thought I would decide that being a nurse manager was not for me. And wow, absolutely never considered being a clinical instructor or starting a business. At this point, if I had a dollar for every time I inserted my foot in my mouth when it came to my career, I'd be very well off. So take it from me, never say never and be open to opportunities the universe throws at you because I've never been happier than where I am today. Now, my day to day life is exactly as I would have dreamt it to be when I was living the chaotic life as a nurse manager. I get up early because I am a morning person by nature. I work on my new grad client resumes and cover letters, as well as many other things within my business. Then I get my kids up and I get them off to school for the day. I jump back into my business, squeeze in some time for household mom chores, and usually get a workout of some type completed. I'm home to welcome my kids off the bus most days, and I have the flexibility to attend midday school functions like the Gingerbread Holiday Bash that we just had a month ago. And I've even been the mystery reader for my kids' class. On days that I have clinical, I am out the door by 5:15 in the morning and I'm home by 3. I absolutely love being able to deliver patient care while also nurturing nursing students. My current day to day life is what I would consider perfect for me. I have never felt so aligned with my work before. So that is my life after nursing school. But I want to make clear that what I shared is more of a professional recap. In all honesty, my personal journey had its own struggles. My personal life after nursing school consisted of major life events, many ups and many downs. In short, I got engaged and I got married. I lost my father to cancer, which was the most devastating thing I've ever been through. I had 3 children, 2 of which were not planned, and parenthood threw me and my husband into a tailspin. We moved a few times. My husband completed a deployment while I was home with our young children during the pandemic. I came to the realization that I was burnt out. I fell out of love with nursing and even questioned if nursing was no longer for me. I did a lot of self reflection and discovery. I was diagnosed with ADHD and I found myself again. After these lived experiences, I understood the key to nursing is figuring out a way to make my nursing career fit into my life rather than revolve my entire life around my career. So I'm back, baby, like a bad ex boyfriend, back in love with the nursing profession. And I hope to share insights on the podcast that will allow you to have a less tumultuous and one sided relationship with the profession than I had had. So there you have it, my life after nursing school, 12 whole years of professional and personal experiences crammed into one podcast episode. I hope my transparency on this first episode validates that I will never sugarcoat the realities of nursing. I think success for nurses lies in making our own informed decisions about our careers. There are many struggles within the profession, but I do feel to my core, this profession, when positioned right on your priority list, offers some incredible perks that most other professions do not. I am determined to help you leverage this profession in a way that brings added joy, triumph, and fulfillment to your life rather than falling into a soul sucking career trap. My promise is to always share the truth, the good and the bad, but to also remind you that being a nurse is one heck of an accomplishment and can positively impact your life. If I keep this promise, would you leave a review, rate the show, and or subscribe when you feel that the show has added value to your life after nursing school? Getting reviews and ratings not only helps to share the show with more nurses in need of support, but also lets me know that this show resonates with you in some way. If you've listened this far, please know I am grateful for you and your time. See you next time, and as always, I am here for you. Well, that's it for today's episode of Life After Nursing School. I hope you feel more confident and ready to tackle the challenges that come with starting your nursing career. Remember, the first year or two might not be easy, but with the right mindset, you can overcome anything. If you found value in today's episode, I'd love for you to hit that subscribe button so you never miss a future episode. Also, please consider leaving a review on your favorite podcast platform. It helps so much in reaching other new nurses like you. Thanks for listening, and remember, you've got this. Take care and see you next time.